All right. Hi, muckers. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. Okay, today we are going to be talking about this Rolling Stone article that is really, really, really blowing up. It is really interesting, and it is an article that is saying that Taylor Swift's last album, The Life of a Showgirl, sparked bizarre accusations of things that we will get into. And it's basically saying that it was a coordinated attack against Taylor Swift and to defame her and all the rest. And I find this really interesting because obviously, as you know, I am a Taylor Swift fan. And as you also know, I'm a Taylor Swift fan that didn't like The Life of a Showgirl. I didn't like the album, and I'm not loving the era of Taylor Swift that we're in right now. That doesn't take away from the fact that I really, really, really... Taylor Swift was my most played artist this year. Torture Poets Department for a second year is my most played album on Spotify Wrapped. And yeah, so like, please, this is not me not being a Taylor fan. I just don't necessarily love the era we're in right now. And a lot of people have been saying that as well. You know, Taylor is going on talk shows now, you know, in a world where she is now engaged to Travis, and she's saying that she's basically turning down the Super Bowl because, you know, Travis is playing in the actual game, and that's so much more important. And, you know, her silly little performances. And I just don't love that. I feel that so much about Taylor Swift's music has been like, you know, being independent, and I just think all that like narratives. And then now, you know, she's kind of gotten the life that she wanted with, you know, the perfect family, I guess. And she kind of is like going back on all the things that she's been saying over the years. And here, people change, people grow, whatever. But there was so much discourse around this album because, number one, the album isn't as strong as her other albums, in my opinion, and music is subjective. I understand that. The lyrics seemed incredibly 10 steps back. Specifically songs like Wish List, where she's saying like, want to have kids with you, I want the whole block to like look like us and stuff. People were calling it out, and the different terminologies, insensitive a lot of times throughout the album. Like, there were a lot of issues with the album that I was personally seeing on social media. But yes, the narrative then started is Taylor Swift, you know, in her trad wife era. And then there were other things that were accusing Taylor of, you know, a lot of other coordinated things allegedly. But my point in this is I'm going to dive in. I'm going to read this article for the first time and see what they're saying about this coordinated attack against Taylor Swift. But I also do want to clarify that I was seeing like real life people having similar conversations, specifically about like the trad wife and stuff, that like I don't think everything is put down to bots, because I don't also think that that is very accurate. So let's get into it either way. I am always really fascinated by like the manipulation of social media and algorithms and stuff like that. I find it really interesting when it comes to the media world about how like little power we have, but how much power they have. So I'm excited to get into it. Also, if you're in London, just announced is my show March 21st of next year. Tickets are down below. Thank you so much to everyone who's already gotten their tickets. I am really, really, really excited for this. It's going to be so much fun. And yeah, if you're in London, March 21st, would love to see you, and we'll have some fun. Also, congratulations, because you have been you've been subscribed. Well, hopefully, you have been nominated to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are so close to 500,000 subscribers. At the time of filming this, we are at 492,800. Like, it is absolutely insane. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I've been doing multiple videos a day, grinding my little ass over here, but you guys have been watching, and I appreciate that. So again, congratulations. Taylor Swift and all of the bots in this coordinated attack have been nominated to subscribe. And also, my Patreon is still 30% off using the code YouTubeMucker. And again, you'll get access to me reacting to Shane's movie, me reacting to the Ruby Frankie documentary, me reacting to Trisha's Broadway show, and me reacting to Escape at Night season 1, 2, and 3. Last night, I'm on season 4 right now. We did the episode where Gabby and Tana get killed off in the same episode. It was bonkers. It felt like I was watching history. And also Beast Game Season 1. Now, I think that it's interesting that this article is coming out now because obviously Taylor Swift is, you know, doing the Eras Tour, like movie, docuseries on Disney+. So obviously this, it kind of seems to me as something, you know, to bring a little bit of good press Taylor's way. Now, I was seeing a lot of discussions about it before we go through it on, you know, Femois on Reddit. And people were saying the top response, right, is once again the actual black woman who called Taylor Swift and her fans out will be ignored. So many black women and allies on social media explained in detail the microaggressions in her lyrics. For example, saying, "But I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage," and referencing Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex, who Taylor's fans have been harassing for years, completely dismissing this is a choice. It was not lost on me that the author of this article was also not black. And it was not lost on me that it was the Rolling Stone, the same one that gave her album a perfect score. Yeah. All right, let's read it, shall we? Let's go through it. Again, I haven't read it yet, so here it is. From Miles Klee, Taylor Swift's last album sparked bizarre accusations of Nazism. It was a coordinated attack. Data analysis of social media posts painting the singer as a Trump supporter or white supremacist revealed a network of inauthentic accounts. Now, I find this is interesting that they are addressing the Trump supporter. And I don't necessarily know about this, but the Trump supporter aspect of it. And again, a big reason for that is, again, like, yes, I'm sure we're going to read that there are bots and stuff, and I'm not denying that at all. But I do want to also acknowledge that there is a lot of people, specifically Taylor Swift fans herself, who are begging for her to do what Olivia Rodrigo, SZA, all of these other singers have done, which is when the White House are posting video propaganda on TikTok to your songs as the anthem, and you are not even shutting it down or challenging it legally or saying something publicly, it paints the picture that you're complicit in the kind of endorsement of your music in those videos. Furthermore, I think the people that Taylor Swift now hangs around, from the Travis Kelce, friend groups of the world and the ones who go to the NFL and stuff, I think are the reason that people are talking about her being a Trump supporter. Like, yes, if we are going to go through and see, I don't think at all that there's any, world in which people aren't doing, botting to, manipulate how people like singers and stuff. But there are also things that Taylor has done that have kind of led people to, you know what I mean? Maybe not to the full extremes, but I don't know. Either way, I'm intrigued to see what they're going to say. So let's get into it. This is so good, by the way. Number 7, lip care in the UK. Oh my God. Also, can I tell you something? It's so embarrassing, right? Like, I'll have a hair. Really embarrassing. I ate my entire advent calendar, like, right before filming this video. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was up to day 10. I ate day 10 to 24 today. Like, literally just before filming this video. I'm not even kidding. And the worst part is, I don't feel guilty about it. Like, I should feel so guilty about the fact that I've now stolen, 14 days worth of chocolate surprises off of me. But, like, I'm gonna be honest, about 5 minutes ago, that's all I wanted. So I just wanted to share that really personal detail of what I just did with you guys. All right, anyways, let's get to this article. Coffee is so good, by the way. So good that I'm dripping it all over myself. No worries. The early October release of Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl, and also on this album, songs have been growing on me, like people said, but I just think that the expectations I went into this album with were just not met. But I have came around to some songs, even the most cringy, I'll bump it to, good thing I like my friends cancer. I can move a shoulder to that now. And also, what other one? I came around to Got a Wish List, I Just Want You. Pretty good. What's the other one? I always liked Father Figure. Fate of Ophelia, I think, is one of her best. And then, what else have I been coming around to? Oh, there's... forgive me, it sounds cocky. He dickmatized me and opened my eye. That song is so bad. Forgive me, it sounds cocky. He hypnotized me and opened my thighs. Redwood tree, it's something. That was the something that opened my thighs. Terrible. Truly terrible. The early October release of Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl was like the arrival of any new music from a colossal pop star, a big event. as it scaled the charts to become the fastest selling album in history, which is just so ridiculous to me. Like, you know what album of hers deserves the fastest selling album in history? In my opinion, Torture Poets Department. Or at a bare minimum, Folklore, Evermore. Like, the more she sells of mediocre albums, the more I get annoyed for her really good work. Anyways, fans and detractors alike picked its dozen songs apart like forensic investigators, but they went far beyond analysis of the lyrics. People also scrutinized the artwork on the varied versions of the LP and CD, as well as the merchandise rolled out to accompany Taylor Swift's ode to artist and romantic triumph. Hunting for Easter eggs, she likes to scatter throughout the landscape of her meticulously managed personal brand. Soon, online discussion on the album turned extreme in ways that many find bewildering. There were social media posts accusing Taylor Swift of implicitly endorsing the MAGA movement, trad wife gender norms, and even white supremacy with dog whistle references. While the far right have been known to claim the singer as an icon, greatness despite her record of championing, the Democrats and liberal values, and President Trump himself has basically said that he doesn't like Taylor Swift, or that he does like Taylor Swift because he's now been, posting, like it says here, AI generated imagery depicting Taylor Swift as a supporter, which is just so crazy that the president can do that. There was a noticeably different trend, or an apparent attempt to cancel, guess you could say she likes her friends canceled, Swift for those presumed ideologies. The attacks largely focused on specific word choices. Her use of the term savage on the song Eldest Daughter was interpreted as racist, and symbols of a necklace for sale on her website stirred up Nazi comparisons because its lightning bolt charms bore a passing resemblance to the bolt pattern worn by the SS. These ridiculous charges led Swifties to bemoan the current political climate, admonishing left-leaning commentators for going overboard in their attempts to identify signs of crypto-fascism in Swift's work. It's depressing because reactions like these end up making everyone who genuinely cares about social progress look ridiculous, wrote one fan on Reddit. The more exaggerated the discourse becomes, the more it plays directly into the right's narrative that liberals are hysterical, moralizing, and incapable of nuance. What Swift's defenders didn't realize, however, was that they were pushing back against a false narrative that had been seeded and amplified by a small network of inauthentic social accounts. Worse, they were helping to pass off those bad faith allegations by earnestly engaging with them. That's according to new research from GUDEA, a behavioral intelligence startup that tracks how such reputation-damaging claims emerge and go viral on the internet. All right, so this is basically saying that the convos were there and then these kind of bot accounts added onto them. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me, In a white paper examining more than 24,000 posts and 18,000 accounts across 14 digital platforms between October 4th, the day after The Life of a Showgirl came out, and October 18th, shared first with Rolling Stone, the firm concluded that just 3.77% of accounts drove 28% of the conversation around Swift and the album. Whoa, okay, so that's crazy. So basically they're saying between October 4th on October 18th, 3.7% of accounts drove 28% of the conversation around Taylor and the album during that period. That's fucking bonkers. That is insane. That is insane. This cluster of coordinated accounts pushed the most inflammatory Swift content, including conspiracy theories about her supposed, illusions, call-outs for her theoretical MAGA ties, and posts that framed her relationship with fiancé Travis Kelce as inherently conservative or trad, with all of these framed as leftist critique. Once these were injected into the Taylor Swift discourse, Often they appeared in edgier online forums like 4chan or Kiwi Farms before migrating to popular social apps. They were organically sustained by the people challenging them on mainstream platforms. This, in turn, with the algorithm, was reinforcing their visibility. That's interesting. So they're saying that these posts were existing and people were interacting with them, which is what kept the conversation going. That's interesting. The false narrative that Taylor Swift was using, say, symbolism, did not remain confined to fringe conspiracy spaces. It successfully pulled typical users into comparisons between Taylor Swift and Kanye West, the researcher wrote. This demonstrates how a strategically seeded falsehood can convert into widespread, authentic discourse, reshaping public perception even when most users do not believe what is happening or the claim in general. Now, that is so crazy because it's kind of like we the people are not even in control of what goes viral anymore because like we don't even know we're interacting with like bots, and then we're a part of the conversation and we're like feeding into exactly what they wanted, which was pushing, you know, these narratives. Like that is crazy because fundamentally, yes, these people are like, we're still having these conversations about Taylor Swift, but then these bots engaging or people engaging with these bots are what make the story so big. That is crazy. Oh, that is crazy. A representative for Taylor Swift did not immediately return a request for comment. I'm a pop girly, says Georgia Paul, the head of customer success at GUDEA, who suggested the company look at the conversation around Taylor Swift. I know she was a Swiftie. Taylor Swift, after she had a gut feeling that the ideology and the charged remarks about the life of a showgirl she was seeing might trace back to manipulative actors. Paul and her colleagues confirmed that suspicion, identifying two distinct spikes in misleading activity relating to Taylor Swift. The first came on October 6th and 7th, with approximately 35% of the posts in their data set for that time frame generated by accounts behaving more like bots than human users. That's crazy. 35% of conversation about someone not being from real people. The second took place on October 13th and 14th, after Swift released a merch collection that included the lightning bolt necklace, which was commemorating the song Opalite, with about 40% of posts shared by inauthentic accounts and conspiracist content accounting to, what? 73.9% of the total conversation. What the fuck? What the fuck? The internet is fake, says Keith Presley, GDEA's founder and CEO, only half joking. He notes that some 50% of the web is now made up by bots. Oh my god, what is going on? We need to shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. This is something that we're seeing escalate on our corporate side. This type of, working to damage someone's reputation. Well, Presley and his team don't know the identity of the individual or groups behind this attack. And then it's like, who's doing it? Is it someone in the industry? Is it a hater? Is it a business partner? Is it a family member? Whoa, that's so many options. They did discover a significant user overlap between accounts pushing the Taylor Swift narratives as those active in a separate campaign against Blake Lively. Whoa. According to the paper, the actress has claimed in an ongoing sexual harassment lawsuit, the actor and director Justin Baldoni organized a course of smears against her on social media as the two were in a legal and PR war. Oh my god, so basically is it the same people? Their data GUDEA researchers wrote in their report reveals a cross-event amplification network. This is crazy. One that disproportionately influences multiple celebrity-driven controversies and injects misinformation into otherwise organic conversations. The intersection of networks and the similarity of their strategies across two separate topics demonstrates a certain sophistication. This is so fucked up. In the expanding industry of facilitating reputational harm across social media, Presley says. They know what they're doing. The more recent Swift-focused activity of these accounts may indicate the owners dipping a toe in the water before pursuing other... Oh my god. That's crazy. Like, doing it against Taylor because she's one of the biggest stars ever to see if you're able to get away with it with other stars. After all, when Blake Lively has argued that Justin Baldoni is trying to sabotage her career with bot-driven commentary, It's not immediately clear what anyone stands to gain from painting Taylor Swift as a closet MAGA voter. When we put our doomsday hat on, I think we can see the reality. Paul says of the test run scenario. It could be, she speculates, that there might be other nefarious actors, not US based, who have reasons to see if I can move the fan base for Taylor Swift, an icon who is this political figure, in a way, does that mean I can do it in other places? While the true intent of the person or persons behind the account, remains a mystery, the mechanics of their deception are relatively transparent, convincing authentic users to mock or refute outlandish claims simply enhances their reach in a given digital ecosystem. What the fuck? Could you imagine the people who did this ever got busted? Could you imagine the lawsuit? Could you fucking imagine the lawsuit? Crazy. That's part of the goal for these types of narratives, forever who's pushing them. Presley says, especially with these, inflammatory ones, that's going to get rewarded by an algorithm. You'll see the influencers jump on first because it's going to get them clicks. Downstream of these well-known figures, anonymous followers will start churning out their own takes. Which should probably give you the pause next time you scroll past an opinion that seems precisely engineered to piss you off. There's no doubt that Swift, is getting a strong response one way or another because of a listening audience, yet there's no reason to assume that anyone dismissing her stating politics to... I can't. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Let me scroll back up. I just need to talk about it, honestly. Again, I cannot imagine the legal impact or the impact this would have for the industry if these kind of people would ever be caught or found out. And I guess that's like the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni of it all. This is crazy. And it's also crazy to know that we can be engaging in something that is more fake than it is real, but we're just seeing so much of it. And that being promoted to us as if it is the popular take, but it isn't. Oh my God, this is so crazy. We're at the stage now where it's I'm only going to trust someone if I'm literally watching them. But then how do you know I'm even real right now? Because someone could never be this gorgeous. AI could never. This is crazy. I want to know your thoughts on it. Let's talk about it down below. I will see you in my next one, and goodbye. Forgive me, it sounds cocky. He hypnotized me and opened my eyes. Redwood tree, something, something. That was the key that opened my thighs. Hey!